talk about it, and we're just going to put it where it is.
I mean, where I come from, that's called a clue.
Okay, actually,
yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I want to put Magnolia on the spotlight. So this is JLR and Magnolia.
Hear it in the way he says things over and over. Sebastian is alive. Sebastian is alive, which made me think a little bit. Well, how do you know for sure Sebastian is alive?
So JLR, for those of you that don't know, was hand-selected by Seth Rogers to come in on March 21st to record him in this search about an hour and a half away from where Sebastian last was seen. He did that willingly, spent time there numerous times, was involved in the Repent Chris Proudfoot protest with JT Olson and so on and so forth. He has done the absolute most, claimed that he was stalked and harassed by the Bauer Sox family too, when he was actually continuing to keep surveillance on Katie and Chris's home, but since Betty is now Team Seth and he's been shoved out because of his differences with TikTok Tony kind of took JLR's spot. Now we got some little underhanded flip-flopping going on. That's all this is. It's called posturing.
Hello, Magnolia.
Hello.
All right, Magnolia. So this latest bombshell, let's talk.
Bombshell. It's a bombshell.
What's up?
Yeah, this new posting kind of, I don't know, I feel it raised my anxiety all of a sudden. I noticed, the couple things that you pointed out. So on the flyer itself, first of all, if you click the link to the FBI posting, it comes up as FBI Most Wanted, filed under the category of kidnapping. First,
I'm sure that's just the section it's in with their missing children, but go ahead and make it into this big ordeal.
First of all, that's how it's filed. And you see in the URL, it says kidnap. It has the word kidnapped in the URL itself.
We don't know if that's even on the table at this point in time. Everything is on the table, but they're going to make one little thing into this big salacious thing. But carry on.
Also, the fact that the remarks section, the one and only remark, is that he has ties to Clarksville.
That's not shocking to me because I think it was just about the time that somebody put something on one of the posters that says, hey, he also, they didn't say he stayed in Clarksville, but he spent 4 days, 6 days a month in Clarksville with his dad. So of course he's got ties there. I don't think that's peculiar in my opinion. I don't think it's odd. People are going to run with it, make it into a big deal. You can decide what you think it is. I think it's just opening up everybody's eyes that no, he wasn't just in the Hendersonville area. He also has ties to Clarksville. I mean, it makes sense to me to do that.
Yeah, what's up with that?
They don't have any other remarks like, oh, he was last seen by his mother. They don't have any, that's it.
That's common facts in the case if you follow the TBI information.
He has ties to Clarksville. I mean, that is like, whoa.
It's just opening up more locations of possible sightings, trying to get people's eyes in more locations is all I think it is.
So one thing,
like it doesn't say, that the father was working in Memphis or anything like that. It just says remarks.
Nothing.
Rogers has ties to Clarksville, Tennessee.
I mean, where I come from, that's called a clue.
That's called a clue. You need to catch a clue, Magnolia.
Clue.
That's called a clue.
Yeah.
I mean, out of everything they could have said in the remarks section, that's the one and only thing they thought was worth mentioning.
It's of course worth mentioning so people can continue to keep on the lookout for potential sightings of Sebastian.
Very interesting. Also, I think it's also extremely interesting that you pointed out the Sumner County, when Seth allegedly spoke to them yesterday, and they said that they had information coming today, but they wouldn't share it with him. That's clearly, for one thing, they don't trust him, so they're not going to tell.
They said that early on. TikTok Tony said that. I've clipped that and put it in numerous videos, that Seth himself told Tony that law enforcement had asked him to do specific things in the beginning of this case to build trust. Seth refused to do those things, and they've had kind of a back and forth with law enforcement, according to Seth and his team, since then. Do we actually know what has gone on? No, we do not. If we're taking him at his word, that's what happened.
Tell him anything because they know he would go and blab everything. But you would think, as a parent of a missing child, if there was going to be a massive reward put out, that you would be made aware of that.
Yes,
yes. I wonder.
Who's to say he wasn't made aware of that? Who's to say that wasn't intentional attempts to get more attention going and him talked about more so Betty's little clear Seth thing would have more attention on it? Anybody think about that? Anybody think that the timing of this is all kind of suspect?
I wonder if if Chris and Katie were made aware of this reward.
If Chris and Katie were made aware of the reward, so was Seth. Sorry. They're not doing that. They're not playing games. Law enforcement is professional and they want to bring Sebastian home.
Well, that's interesting because we don't know because they've just been totally quiet, right? They just been totally quiet. But I kind of just think also in this new flyer that's out, they list a description.
By the way, anybody that was there locally on the ground, I don't know if Music City Mom is in here, were Seth's parents, was Robin there? I don't know if she's traveling as much now or not, but I was curious if anybody saw if his family or his sister or anybody was there supporting the rescue ride on Saturday. I'd be interested to know.
as a statement of fact that he was wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and black square frame glasses. Now, in order to get a description, you probably would have to get that description off Katie. Because Katie was right, unless he was seen outside, and we don't know anything. Like unless there's some sort of surveillance out there that the FBI and authorities aren't showing us. But you're going by a description which Katie thinks. So the fact that they're saying it's coming from Katie, then they're believing Katie's version.
That's, oh my God. Oh.
Yeah, Sammy C said this is greatly unsettling. That's a really good word. It's very unsettling. I reading the report and I just noticed details like this, and those things just really stood out to me, like a blazing neon sign. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about though,
this is why we're doing this.
It's just this case overall in general, and this is the 6-month anniversary.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this case overall, Magnolia. Let's do that. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on this case since you claim you're an investigative journalist. Let's talk.
So. I think that people need to take a step back. What I've seen in this case.
She telling people that they need to take a step back, motherfucker.
And we see this in lots of cases. People become very personally attached to these cases.
You wouldn't say that people become personally attached to these cases, kind of like you guys and flip-flopping all over. Okay, say it ain't so.
To the point where they take things personally, and you see these.
Oh, really?
Creators fighting with each other and teams.
Kind of personal, like you took when the Washington Post called you out and you got up and stormed out of the interview, kind of personally like that. Seems to me you took that pretty personal when they exposed your ass, Magnolia. Seems to me that you have some experience in taking things personally when you get outed by actual media sources, you know, real journalists that have ethical boundaries. You don't have to take my word for it. You can go find it yourself.
This and team that, and that's generally because most people are, they think emotionally, they use their emotions when they think about things, or they're trying to figure something out. A lot of people are not capable of separating their own emotion from a situation to see the overall picture.
Oh, really? The irony of all of this. These two were the ones that were pushing heavy narratives into social media, such as the Bower Sox family were stalking and harassing JLR. JLR connected to sources on the ground in the neighborhood, was speaking to neighbors, such as bullshit Bobby with her bullshit stories, Terry Lynn and the crew. The irony of all of this flip-flopping all over here. And where are they getting their information? I ask you again, it's not a shock.
One thing with me when I do investigations, I don't really use emotion to make decisions. I don't think I've ever made a decision in my life based on emotion.
Oh, really? You've never made quite big statements for somebody that's been exposed on the scale you have.
This is how I am. I'm a natural investigator. So I'm
a natural investigator. If you're a natural investigator, oh, Magnolia, you walked yourself into this one, didn't you? You're a natural investigator who has no ethical boundaries, no journalistic integrity, wouldn't be hired by national news media because you tried to sell a story. You tried to sell a story about a sexual assault. You made up a whole fabricated story. Sit the fuck down.
Look at everything from like a 30,000 view. And I just want people to go back to the beginning of this case. Sebastian went missing on February 26th. The very first week that went by, we never heard.
I told you gloves are off. I am done with this bullshit. I am done with people running with the shit that they're pumping out here, the misinformation, the intentional harm that they are doing to a missing child. All of them. Magnolia comes across as this sweet, innocent. Everybody's just latching on to JLR's bullshit over and over again. Over and over again. He has fed the fucking troll machine this entire time and continues to do it. And she's right along with him. Now everybody's like, Magnolia's pulling him back in such a good bullshit. This is all fucking games.
From the family. I remember during that week, it was reported that he was missing, and like,
do I fuck with you guys? No. Heels in the air. Rest her soul. Did a video. And there is enough information in the description of that video that will lead you right to where you need to go to find exactly what I'm talking about. There is news source after news source after news source after news source. And we're not talking tabloid type news sources like JLR runs himself to pump out fake news articles. We're talking legit sources, Washington Post, so on and so forth. Yeah, go check it out.
Daily Mail had put out an article. And at the time, during that first week, it was said that the family was too distraught to even speak about this. It was on day 8, it was the 8th day when Chris and Katie did their first interview. And I think a lot of people forget about that interview. When you watch that, it was the first interview they put out. It came out, it was posted in 4 parts. It was about 20 minutes altogether. Now, when I watched that interview, I saw something way different, I think, than most people. I think for some reason, most people instantly
She saw something way different in the beginning. Meanwhile, she went along with all these narratives. Okay.
were suspicious of Katie because she's the last one that saw him. But if you go back and watch that,
That's why you guys dug into her family's background and made horrifying allegations about things like that. Okay.
very first interview, Katie Proudfoot is a traumatized basket case. She's
A basket case. Calling the mother of a missing child a basket case.
literally rocking back and forth in her chair. Like, she can barely talk. She is clearly unglued.
Clearly unglued. Listen to the terms. And all of you worshiping JLR and Magnolia, sit the fuck over there with them. Sit over there with them. Please do. I can't wait to watch this all.